Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through Kaa Asset Management. I'll explain what assets are and how to use them. We'll also build a small solution to demonstrate how to work with assets and other Kaa tools. But before we begin, there are a couple of things you should know. 1. Assets are an advanced topic, so to make things easier, you should already be familiar with what a Kaa application and a Kaa endpoint are. Ideally, you should have already created a few endpoints. If you're not there yet, check out the links in the description. 2. In this tutorial, I'll be using Kaa Next, the most recent version of the Kaa platform, not Kaa Cloud, which is the legacy version. This means that if you're using Kaa Cloud, some parts of the UI might look different from what you see in the video. So with that out of the way, let's get started. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. To better understand what Kaa assets are, let's first look at the problem they're designed to solve. In the Kaa platform, everything, and I mean everything, starts with applications and endpoints. In the example shown here, we have an application called Temperature Sensors, and it has 9 endpoints connected to it. Now, what do we actually want to do with these endpoints in the application? Typically, we want to display their data on the solution dashboard. But let's take it a step further. Imagine we want to group endpoints under a static entity, like an office, a location, or any other organizational unit that might also hold additional static data, such as a physical address or room number. This is where asset management comes in. With assets, we can create those static entities and associate endpoints with them, allowing for more structured and meaningful data representation on the dashboard. To help you better understand how to use assets, let me show you how to apply them in the Kaa platform. I'll create a simple dashboard that uses assets to organize endpoints across different offices. Feel free to follow along on your end. The first step is to create an application and a few endpoints. Start by clicking Add Device. In the window that appears, we'll need to specify an application. Since this is a new account, we don't have any applications yet. So type in a name for your application. It can be anything you like. For the endpoint token, you can enter anything. The same goes for the device name. Feel free to name it however you want. Kaa just redirected us to the device page for the endpoint we created, but we don't need anything from here, so I'll head back to the device management page. Right now, we've got one endpoint, but to demonstrate asset management properly, we'll need a few more. I'll quickly create the rest. 9 in total should do. All right, with those in place, we can start working with asset management. Now let's go to Asset Management, Assets. And we hit an error. That's totally expected. It's happening because we haven't created any asset types yet. Asset type is a template that defines what kind of data each asset should hold. Without asset types, we can't create assets. So let's fix that next. Navigate to Asset Management, Asset Types. Click Add Asset Type. In the form that opens, there are a few important things to note. The asset type name serves both as a name and a unique ID. It's important to use only uppercase letters, and the name must be unique. The display name can be anything you like. It's just for readability. In the definition JSON schema, we define the data structure of our asset. Since we're creating an office asset, I'll just add 2 basic integer properties, latitude and longitude, to represent office location. We can skip the JSON definition for now. It's used to customize the UI for managing assets, but that's a more advanced topic. Finally, and most importantly, we have the Asset Type Relation section. This is where we define relationships, either between assets and endpoints or assets and other assets. Click on Add Relation. You'll see 2 drop-downs here, Relation Type and To Entity. Under Relation Type, you've got a few options. Contains, manages, supports, and controls. Honestly, these don't affect functionality. They're just for extra filtering when you're working with the Kaa API, so go ahead and pick Contains. Next, in the To Entity dropdown, we choose what this asset can be linked to. I'll select Application and then choose our Temperature Sensors app. That way we'll be able to associate any temperature sensor endpoints from that app with this asset. And that's it. We've finished setting up our asset type. Now just scroll up and click Create to save it. Good, we've just created a new asset type. That means we can now start creating new assets based on the Office asset type. To do that, let's head over to Asset Management, then click on Assets. On this page, you'll see a drop-down where you can select the specific asset type and a Add Asset button next to it. Let's go ahead and click Add Asset to create our first one. As you can see, this is the form we defined earlier when we created the asset type. I'll fill it in with some sample data. Under Asset Children, we can specify which endpoints we want to include. I'll go ahead and add a few of our temperature sensors here. And just like that, we have our first Office asset. Now I'll repeat the same process to create a second asset, Office 2. With our two offices ready, we now have enough data to build a basic dashboard. Let's head over to the Solution tab. I already have a solution called Temperature Sensors. It was created automatically along with the Temperature Sensors application. Let's open it, and inside you'll find the default Home dashboard. Click on it. It's empty right now, of course, so let's add some widgets. To start editing, click Edit Mode in the top right corner, then hit Add Widget. From the Widget menu, look for the Asset List widget. Awesome. The widget now shows our two Office assets, but we can tweak it a bit to make it more useful. I'll start by renaming the widget. The key settings are under the Data Source tab. Right now, the widget is showing all assets in the account. To fix that, I'll set the asset type to Office so it only shows our Office-related assets. We can also add more columns to show extra details about each asset, like their coordinates or any custom fields. And if you want to get fancy, you can enable Use Advanced Template to customize the layout with HTML and CSS. The rest of the settings look fine, so I'll go ahead and save the widget. One important note: don't forget to click Publish Changes. If you leave or reload the page without publishing, all your changes will be lost. We're done here for now, so let's go back to the list of all dashboards. From there, let's create a new Office dashboard. In the form that appears, the key setting to configure is the dashboard type. Make sure it's set to Entity-related and select your asset type. Everything else is optional. So here's our Office dashboard. Let's click on it. Here we want to add Endpoint List widget to output all endpoint that are related to specific Office. Let's edit the endpoint list. For this widget, we'll specify the application and also update the columns so that we can better understand which endpoints we have. From the Office name in the title, you can tell that we're on the page related to Office 2. Office 2 contains only 2 endpoints, but right now the list shows all 9 endpoints. That's because we still need to extract the endpoints from our Office asset. To do that, let's open the Variables menu in the top right corner. In the Variables form, I'll name it SelectedEndpoints. For the source, choose Asset because our Office asset contains the endpoints. Set the selection type to List, since we want to select multiple endpoints. The entity type should be children because the endpoints are considered children of the Office asset. For parent asset, use the dashboard root ID. That's the path to the ID of our Office asset. Then select the correct application. As you can see on the right side, I've successfully extracted the endpoint IDs from the asset. It might seem like a complex setup, but it will extract data automatically for every other Office asset. Now the endpoints are stored in the context object. We'll use this to define which endpoints should appear in the endpoint list. Go to Data Source, Endpoint IDs, and select ctx.selectedEndpoints. All right, that's enough for the Office dashboard for now. There's just one more dashboard left, and that's going to be the temperature sensor dashboard. Let's go back to the list of all dashboards. From there, I'll add a new dashboard and name as it temperature sensor. For the settings, set the entity-related field to endpoint and select your temperature sensors application. The dashboard path can be edited if needed, but that's optional. Let's also update the title to make it more clear and then finish the dashboard initialization. In the newly created temperature sensor dashboard, I'll just add the endpoint metadata. This is simply to show that we're indeed viewing the specific endpoint that's been attached to our Office asset. The last important step is to link all three dashboards together. We'll start with the Home dashboard. Here we have two assets listed. From this list, we can set up a redirect to the Office dashboard. Now let's do the same for the endpoint list in Office dashboard. We'll add a redirect to the temperature sensor dashboard. And with that, we've completed the basic skeleton for an asset-based dashboard. As you can see, it's very minimal, no additional widgets or complex logic, and that's intentional. This setup is just meant to showcase the core concepts of working with assets. Of course, there are more advanced topics we didn't cover here, like asset actions and table commands, and each of those deserves its own video. But for now, I hope this video was helpful to you. Feel free to leave your questions in the comments, and thanks for watching.